We begin by, I'm going to go ahead and mute everyone's microphones so that we can have a completely silent background. To start off, you will need to log on to your account. Many of you have probably already logged onto your account and see this area as something very familiar. We're going to focus primarily on, like I mentioned before, under Manage Inventory, List an Item. By logging into your account, however, also triggers a functionality on the site which enables you to list an item as well. But today I'm going to show you how to do it using the List an Item link you see here under Manage Inventory, as well as going onto the site, because it really does the same thing. Excuse me. Okay, so once you've logged in, you go to the home, you land on the home page of the Seller Tools. You simply click List an Item, and this screen pops up. All this screen really is a search, very similar to the search we have on buy.com. So let's pick something like Canon digital camera. You click Continue, and what ends up happening is a search result based on popularity. In this case, you could also base it on many different other things. So if you find the particular product you want to list, you can simply click on that. I'm going to look at the EOS Rebel T3i. Okay. Now, it looks like just a regular product page that you would see on buy.com. Okay. Someone's causing some background. Okay, so I've muted everybody. It looks like a normal page of a product page on buy.com, and it is, with one exception. In this area right here, under See All, you'll notice that there's a blue button that says Sell Yours Here. So what you want to do, this button only appears if you log on to your seller account page. You actually don't have to click into List an Item. You could actually go directly to the buy.com site after you've logged in. The Sell Yours Here button will let you know whether or not you logged in successfully. Sell Yours Here button, again, only will appear to sellers who log on to their seller account page or the seller account. So what you want to do, if this is the particular product in which you want to list, you want to simply click the button. And it takes you to what we call the List an Item page. It's fairly straightforward. We'll go through it field by field. First is a condition. A condition is either going to be brand new or refurbished. And what we mean by refurbished is we mean manufacturer refurbished, not refurbished by a third party. If you're selling, for example, a refurbished Canon camera, it's going to be refurbished by Canon themselves, or an exclusive third-party refurbishing company that Canon has authorized. Regardless of which, the packaging will be Canon's packaging, and usually with refurbished items, there's some labeling on the packaging that indicates that this is not a brand new camera, it's a manufacturer refurbished camera. Most of the things that you sell on the marketplace, however, should be brand new, but just wanted to make a clarification on the refurbished option here on condition. So I'm going to select brand new. The next text is a text field, and that is what we call the reference ID. Now, the reference ID is important because we pass that ID to your order. The reference ID can be any alphanumeric you like. It could be the UPC, it could be the manufacturer part number, or any internally generated product ID that you have on your site. The importance of this is that since we pass it through to you on the order, when you get the order, if you look at the reference ID, you should know exactly what to ship to the customer. It's got to be that meaningful, okay? The next box is called Your Comment. Now, this is not a product description. This is for things like manufacturer refurbished, for things like ships within 24 hours, things like that. Very short 1 or 2 sentences. Again, we've had some sellers use this particular section as a product description. We already have a product description on the product page. Your common area is not to be utilized in that way. The next box is called your price, which is the price that you wish the buyers to purchase your listing or your product at. Just simple enough. I'm going to come up with my own reference ID here so we can see what happens. Put a comment. And I'm going to put a ridiculous price because I don't want anyone to buy from me. Now, map. If you do not know what map is, then it doesn't apply to you and you could leave this field blank. However, a company like Canon, who does have map pricing, it's very important that you utilize this field. Now, map is minimum advertised price, and usually it goes along with that is a map agreement with the manufacturer. The manufacturer is going to tell you what the prices should be when you go out in advertising, and they should not be below that in advertising. You can certainly sell it below what the minimum advertised price is, but you cannot go out in advertising at that low price. If you happen to have your products priced at map, then you also don't need to use this field. It is only for those who are selling products that have a map agreement, a minimum advertised price agreement, and they're selling below that minimum advertised price. If you're selling at the minimum advertised price, you don't need to put anything in this map field. So just for an example, I'm going to say that this particular camera has a map of 1999. And what this does is it triggers a functionality on the site called click here to see price. So on the product page, you won't see this $1,500 price. You'll actually see the map price, and then there will be some text saying something to the effect, click here to see price. And this way you are not violating your map agreement with the manufacturer. Do review your map agreements when you're doing the map field on the site to make sure that this functionality satisfies that agreement. We do have other map type of functionalities. Some deal with having to add the item to the cart. Some have to deal with actually checking out with the item. So if you have any other functionality, or if your map agreement calls for anything other than click here to see price, then you cannot use this tool to list those products for sale. You'll have to use the inventory feed. Now, the inventory feed has those other map type of functionality options, of which this does not. So this listing item is for very simple, very straightforward listing of your items. If you have some very complex map agreement in which the seller is asking, or which the manufacturer is asking you, the seller, to have that item carted before the customer can see your price, which is lower than map, then you'll have to use the inventory feed. Okay? This map functionality will only trigger the click here to see price functionality. The next text box is quantity available. That's how many you have to sell. I'm going to put 1 because, again, I'm just going to delete this listing so that obviously I don't have a camera for sale. And this is, even though it's my test account, it's a live account. My location is I'm shipping from California, but you can choose any of the other states in which this product is shipping from. Okay. Now next is the shipping options. You can decide whether or not you're going to offer expedited shipping, 2-day shipping, or 1-day shipping. You don't have to. They're completely optional. The only one that isn't optional, obviously, is offer standard shipping. That is mandatory. So if you want to offer, for example, expedited shipping, you click yes on the radio button. If you want to offer 2-day and 1-day, you click yes on the offer 2-day and 1-day shipping. At this point, you should have your seller account level shipping definitions set up, meaning you should not be listing any products without having your shipping settings set up first. And that's what this checkbox is here. It's defaulted because we assume that you have those set up within buy.com. However, if you, so that's very important. Shipping settings first and then list your products. However, if you have, for example, I want to be very specific in my shipping fees that go beyond my global shipping rates for this EOS Rebel, then I'll uncheck this. And as you can see, it expands out. So if I'm offering expedited shipping, I could dictate exactly how much I want to charge. It could be $18.17, which is based on our default rates. Our default rates on standard and expedited shipping are based on our shipping tables as an average of what it will cost to ship this camera. I could even set this at a different price in case that I'm getting a better deal than $9.40 for shipping a Canon camera. I could put $5, for example, if I'm getting a great rate from UPS or FedEx or any other shipper. You could even increase those amounts. For example, if you have a heavy furniture product that you're wanting to ship, or a product that exceeds the size limits, then you could certainly put something higher to cover your costs. Again, this will override your shipping definitions, or what we call the shipping settings that you've already set up in your seller account before listing this product. By entering amounts in these areas here, we're going to be overriding whatever you set up in your global shipping settings for something very specific. Some people, some sellers, set up their shipping definitions to charge a fee to their customers. This particular area can be used to offer free shipping on very specific items. Like let's say you have a handful, just a small handful of products that you want to offer free shipping to as a promo. You can override, again, your shipping definitions that normally charges a fee on standard, and simply put 0.00 or just 0 here, and now you're offering free shipping for standard shipping. You could do so the same if you want for expedited shipping, but that's a pretty rare occasion. Okay, I'm going to go back to using my seller level shipping definitions. And now that you've filled out all the fields and made the appropriate radio button selections, all you have to do is submit. A little pop-up will give you an opportunity to make sure that you want to create this listing. Simply click OK. And I will have that listing in my account now. What's happening is the data is being transferred to our back end. It updates and makes that product available for you to sell. Meaning that you're one of these sellers that the buyer can select from for selling that product. Now, if you look at view edit your listings, you'll see that item. It usually takes a little bit, like a minute or two to appear there. So, but in order to kind of like double check to see if that listing was successful, you can click here and then simply click the search button without making any selections with the drop-down menus above. And let's see if it's actually, no, it's not listed yet. It takes a little bit of time. But what it will do is it will eventually reach this area here, of which you can view how that went for you in terms of being able to successfully list that product. Now, once you listed that product and the product appears here, let's see if it, there we go. As you can see, it's here's my my Canon EOS Rebel that I listed for $1,500. I only have one of them for sale. I haven't sold any, and I probably won't, and not at that price. If you want to edit your listing, let's say you inadvertently put the wrong map price, or you put the wrong pricing in, you simply go over to the listing ID, click it, and it takes you back to the screen. And there you can change anything you like. Okay. This is Buy.com's price. It is not the price you're selling the product for. This is the price that Buy.com itself is selling this product for. So do not confuse that with your price. Your price is here. The customer will see $1,500 for this Canon EOS Rebel. They're going to see $767 when they look at what Buy.com is offering that product at. Now, to close a listing, there are a couple options here. You could zero out the quantity available, or even easier yet, there's a button at the bottom here called Close This Listing. And you simply click this. A pop-up appears again, giving you an opportunity to double-check to see whether or not you really want to close this listing. Click OK. And that listing will eventually disappear from this list. Now, if you log on to the Buy.com site directly, as long as you're logged into your seller account, you could search and find a number of any of your products that you have in stock to sell. Again, the way you can tell on whether or not you can list a product for sale is if you see the Sell Yours button here. And there's also one up here. There will be some instances where you will not see the Sell Yours button. A couple of those are, one, for some reason the manufacturer has decided that only a handful of authorized sellers could sell that product. So we've locked out all sellers and created a list of exceptions of those authorized sellers to sell certain products. Samsung is a good example of this, in that they have a list of very specific marketplace sellers who are authorized to sell their products. Everyone else is blocked, and you will not see the Sell Yours button here if you're not an unauthorized Samsung dealer. There are also very specific promotions that are specific to Buy.com. So in some of those cases, we will also lock out all sellers, not just a handful of them, but all sellers during a certain time period of which this promo is taking place. And that's because the manufacturer has given Buy.com an opportunity for an exclusive promotion of which obviously we cannot share with the other sellers. So those are a couple instances when you would not see the Sell Yours button here. There are also manufacturers that are also marketplace sellers that do not wish anyone else to sell their products but them. They actually have a registered trademark. They own that registered trademark, and they manufacture that product under that brand. Those are some of the conditions by which we would accept to do something like that, to block other resellers from listing against the manufacturer. And we do check before we do such exceptions. Okay. And let me refresh this screen here. and my Canon camera is now gone. You could see the closed listing by selecting closed under the status drop-down menu. Click search. Let's see here. Went up to my, guess my search isn't, oh, there it is. Happened so fast. These are all my closed listings. So that's just a double check. Okay, the Canon EOS Rebel T3i is now under closed listings. I've successfully closed my listing. And that's really about it and with regards to listing an item using the seller tools. So what I'd like to do now